to the next edition of Ebony, Mind, Body, and Soul with Doc and the Dude. I am the dude of Doc and the Dude. I'm Kanan Jasper, accompanied by my brother, Dr. Kendall Jasper, in which we bring to you a conversation like no other. We touch on the edge, the razor's edge of topics. And we like to talk to some interesting people about some interesting things. This segment, just like the others, are brought to you by Smart Water. Kendall, you want to tell them a little bit about Smart Water?
Well, you know, Smart Water, shameless plug to Smart Water, always. Smart Water has a lot of initiatives, and, some of those are about keep living smart, the manner in which people are going about health, and the power of water. You know, like Bruce Lee said, be water, my friend. And I think that Smart Water taps into the idea that there's a lot of power in water as the most efficient and best health tool. So without further ado, we'd like to introduce our guest. I'm sorry. Go ahead, brother.
Let me get this off.
Okay, we'll get it off then. I'm sorry.
We found out who we were interviewing. I had to put them tentacles out there. And I got to say that my phone hasn't stopped ringing, man. I talked about this fella, and everybody had nothing but great things to say about him, especially the ladies out there. Like, they just would not shut up. They were like, oh my God, can we chime in? So this young man is originally from New Orleans, Louisiana. He is, I don't even know what you call this type of singer. You know what I mean? Like, he's just super smooth. He reminds me of the Marvin Gaye's, the Charlie Wilsons, the Raphael Sadiq. You know what I mean? One of them dudes that just be sitting there and you're like, damn, I wish I could do that. You know what I mean? Ladies and gentlemen, Lucky Daye.
So, my brother, appreciate you for agreeing to share your time and conversation with us.
Of course, this is progressive. Anything progressive.
Absolutely.
All day. Let me say this though, my brother. Incredible LP, fam. The first thing I think of is how soulful you are. And being mind, body, and soul, that's one of our touch points. And I found myself today listening to your music, and then if I'm transitioning to something else, it could only be other soulful type crooners that I wanted to listen to, male or female, quite honestly. So sometimes it doesn't have to follow the mind, body, and soul. So since we're talking about soul, brother, where does that come from? Soul, brother, number one. Where does that soul come from, my brother?
You just gotta mean it. I think soul is when I don't know the actual definition of what you would call musical genre soul, but I think it's interpreted as something that you could say with the utmost confidence and not be afraid how you saying it and who thinks you said it right or wrong. It's just, I meant that. And it comes out as just like soulful.
Yeah, that's interesting, man. Because you have a particular path to your current craft, right? Before, I had read some things. I don't know how accurate it is, but I'll let you explain. They were saying that you had came out of something kind of cultish, and then that was against all things secular.
Yeah, it was, I guess you could say cultish.
I mean, that's what I read. That's why I was like, let me leave it in your hands. But when they said against all things secular, and I was like, wait a minute, he's from New Orleans. New Orleans is like the gumbo of secular. You know what I mean?
Like everything is outside. So, it was basically a code. People use good principle and twist it up in a way where when you have a fresh mind, you just kind of soak it up. So you just do what people say, and who you gonna tell them? You just got the earth. You know what I mean? Right. You don't even know nobody.
Right.
So when was the point where you said, hey, listen, because obviously influence leads you to, the influences lead you or inspire you to come up with these incredible works of art, brother. So when do you get to the point where you say, hey, this is not the path for me. This is what I want for myself. If you could give us a timeline, when does that process begin for you and say, hey, I don't want that. I want this. And this speaks to me. It speaks to my soul, speaks to my heart.
Well, I'm actually just getting to that place. I was always like taught faith, which I think is one of the good things that came out of that. It's so much good you could put out of negativity, but that's one of the main things that I always live by, just like faith. And I guess that allowed me to let my intuition take charge. And it was more or less following my intuition and being confident in doing every decision that I made. And I just kind of followed that path. I followed my alchemy. And funny enough, I read a book called Alchemy, and I was like, yo, this is my life.
Yeah.
But I didn't get to the end of my life like I got to the end of the book. And then I finally figured out what that was. Code cracked. That's
what's up, man. I mean, first of all, what part of New Orleans are you from?
I was born in Algiers. We moved to the 7th Ward. And then I left home when I was in Gretna.
Oh, okay. 7th Ward, Boscoville.
Mm-hmm. Ragusa was over there before.
Yeah.
I don't even know if it's still there.
That's
so speaking of New Orleans, here's a question, lighthearted question for you. Who has the best oysters in New Orleans?
Neo's.
Okay. He said that without even saying. Let's go, brother.
Yeah, I got you, man. You better know. You ain't had it.
I ain't know if you was gonna say Dragos or Acme or I ain't know where he was going with it, brother.
Neo's, bro.
I mean, I'm supportive of,
Yeah, I got you. Neo's. You said your answer. That's what it is. So New Orleans is so full, like, is responsible. And I know we spend a lot of time on New Orleans, but we're gonna take this conversation elsewhere. But it is so responsible for cultural relevance in this country. A lot of people do not know how culturally relevant New Orleans is to the rest of the country.
New Orleans is a pretty cultural place. I think it's because it's so many influences. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't even give all the credit to New Orleans. I would say the French, I would say the Spanish, I would say the greedy, I would say the ambitious and the creative. I mean, but the city is definitely the most non-American place in America.
I dig it.
Do you think that lends itself to so many creative people coming out of that place that have had a significant impact on our culture?
Yeah, I just think it's so much spirit down there. And I mean that in a celebratory way. We're very proud people. So, I mean, I think that it allows you to just be like non-fearful of anything. So we cling to each other really tightly. Like, and what's crazy about clinging to each other tightly in New Orleans is when you know someone so close, the angrier you get, the more excited you get. And the dynamics of all of it is so broad and urgent. And I feel like my city is a place where people are just like, they say what they feel. They see you walking down the street, it's hello, how you doing? You open the door for everybody. Yeah. It's just totally different. You cooking for people, like you giving people your last.
Yeah. That's actually
happily though. Like,
yeah. I mean, listen, my very first experience in New Orleans, that was like 20-some years ago. I knew nothing about it, but I was landing and I met an older couple on the plane and I was asking them places to go. Mm-hmm. And the lady was like, "You here by yourself?" I was like, "Yeah." And she was like, "You know what? I'm cooking dinner at the house tonight. Won't you come over?" And see, I was like, "Really?" So I called.
Had some food you never even tasted before.
Oh,
absolutely.
Oh God.
What she made?
Yo, she made. I think she made everything. Like
she made a little etouffee. Is that what she made? A little etouffee for you.
But I tell you what, she asked me, did I want to come back the next day? And I said, yeah.
Oh, God. You about to go ahead. Don't do it.
I'm telling you, I was blown away the first time I touched down there. And which probably is going to lead me to a real sensitive touch point. You know, Hurricane Katrina is unlike any disaster that I've ever seen in this country. The mental fortitude that people from New Orleans showed in bouncing back is remarkable. But I want to talk about you, because here you are, you had to leave your home. And this is the place where your creativity was brewing and developing. How tough was that for you, man? Like, how did you pull yourself through that?
It was a lot of stress on everybody. So I kind of took the role of, a lot of Black children take the role of being what the mom wants in a husband that she don't have. So I took the role of doing everything voluntarily because I love my mom. Yeah. So I'm working, I'm doing 2 schools. I had 2 jobs. And I got to the crib and I passed out. And she was like, yo, empty my trash can. She said, empty my trash can. I'm like, nah, I'm tired. I can't move. She like, empty my trash can. And then it got to the point where empty my trash can or get out of my house. I chose to get out of my house.
Mm. How old were you?
16.
16. Okay.
Wow.
And is that when you moved to Tyler?
No. Okay. We went to Tyler, and before that, I was with my pop. I went to my pop. I ran to his house. And that was my opportunity to try to get to know him and stuff. Okay. So,
do you think that was a healthy experience? You know?
Oh yeah, definitely. Like even to this day, I'm like, I understand him more than any of my brothers. Like I understand the things that most men can't really explain because the rest of the world looks at it, funny. Like right. I had the opportunity to put myself in his shoes and also have myself in my mom's shoes and even in my shoes. And it's like, why would you get mad at the outcome if you're the driver of your own body? Like you can choose things. So I was like, let me just look at how things added up and start appreciating, and my appreciation began, and then openness flushed through. I mean, I think it was just more of I'm mad because I don't want to take the trash out. I mean, I want to know my pops more.
Right.
So I'm gonna go run over there to him. Hurricane hit. They go to the city. I'm like, man, I'm gonna go to Atlanta. And 2 of my other brothers was indecisive. So then we all just went ahead and went to Tyler just because my grandmother, she was by herself. And so we stayed out there for they stayed for 6 months. I stayed for 2 weeks.
Let me ask you this, my brother. What I hear a lot of vulnerability in your music, right? I hear you talking a lot about you, obviously relationships. Where does that vulnerability come from? What part of your journey lends itself to you being able to open up the way that you do through your music?
Right, because a lot of men, like you said, a lot of men just don't talk.
Well, I used to be the one that don't talk. I just think it's not about, people don't listen well, so you have to learn how to say things better. And if you understand people don't listen well, you can kind of either go learn how to say what you're going to say, because there's nothing wrong in taking time or waiting, or, talk to someone close, and somebody that understands you. I just think we're just so afraid,
So
let me say this. I think that, and this is the piece that I'll add to it, being a psychologist, I think that sometimes people need to understand that we're not always necessarily saying things for other people to understand. Right. I think that part of our journey is the idea that we're saying things not because they need to hear it, but we need to say it.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And that's part of our journey. And if we're saying those things, then being able to be less concerned about their reaction for our own health is also very important. Like, I'm not saying this, so I'm not saying this with the intent of looking for a reaction that I want you to have, regardless of how you react to it. I just need to say it. You feel me?
Yes. See, now you're going deep. Now, see, in order to even get there, people usually tell me carriage before the horse, but that's carriage before the horse. Only because a lot of us don't know how to do that yet. Like, the thing is, like, you can't ask questions. Well, you can't get answers or ask questions you don't know to ask. Like, a lot of people don't know what to ask. And I'm saying that in a way where a lot of people don't know how to know who to talk to.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's a skill level. It takes a skill to, and it takes a confidence that a lot of us not born with. And
Right.
a lot of us aren't given a good balance of, like, you could get confidence, but it's bad confidence and it's like good confidence.
So where did you find yours? Like,
me finding mine, I mean, I just trust God. I've always trusted God. Whatever God is, whoever God is, if God is all of us, if God is nothing, if God is one thing. Just having that ability to be able to believe something is going to help me find my way. That's all I follow.
that's interesting. I mean, for
Great
me,
point, brother.
yeah, absolutely. Because for me, most of the time, if I'm having that issue as far as navigating through, I turn to music.
Mm-hmm.
I turn to music. I turn to Stevie.
That was mine too.
What'd you say?
That was mine. That was my same one.
You know, and I was leading into that because I'm like, you know, I turn to Stevie Wonder. I turn to Marvin Gaye. I turn to Smokey Robinson and stuff like that. Even though I'm not of my parents' age, it's still, they gave me instruction through their music. So you being an R&B singer, no, I don't even call that. You being a singer, artist, you know, that's my bad on that.
Thank
you know, how much responsibility do you feel that you have to put within your art?
You know what? It's so many surfaces, because I know it's so, like I said, it's levels of listening. And I use that in my way of writing. So I'll write directly to a target of my own choice if I have to. Like, I use it because people make mistakes all the time. Mm-hmm. And I use the mistakes or whatever it is, instead of blaming the person, I use the mistakes as a tool, a muse. And that's how I do it. I know people don't understand well either. So a lot of my learning how to write came from watching other people mess up. So I saw a lot of heartbreaks. I saw a lot of just messed up manipulation. I saw a lot of hurt. I saw a lot of blaming and over blaming, under blaming. I just saw a lot of misunderstandings. So, I mean, I just used the stuff. I'm sensitive.
Mm-hmm. That's big to even admit that.
Brother, you sharing all over the place. And I want to say thank you. And I'm gracious for you sharing that with us, especially, you know, with us just really getting to know each other. So I appreciate your openness there.
Of course.
You mentioned your writing, right? And you've been prolific with writing, not only for yourself, but for other people, right? Sure. You've been nominated for Grammys, right? You winning awards all over the place, right? So take me into the transformation of your mindset, depending on who you're writing for. Like, how does that process work? How are you able to get into the artistry of another person and say, hey, I feel like what I'm writing for you is perfect for you and what you're trying to express?
Well, I kind of first look at the overall problem of, I feel like, relationships all over and everyone. And most of it's just like miscommunication. And then you just open up the book of miscommunication and it's bigger than a dictionary. And it's just like endless ideas and endless possibilities. And then I guess whatever one hurt me the most, I'm sure it's always that thing where we're all one, right? Mm-hmm. So if it hurt me the most, it had to hurt everybody else a little bit. You know what I mean? So I'm gonna tap into that, and I'm gonna get lost in that pain and that emotion for about 2 hours, and then come out of it.
Is that a draining process for you?
Yeah.
What do you do to recover? A healthy way to another songwriter who may engage in that process. How do you come back from that?
Do it with my people that I love.
Man, listen, you've written some songs with some strong, powerful women out there too, right?
Oh yeah, they crazy.
Yo, how you get there, right? How do you take it from, okay, my perspective and put it in the perspective of a woman, right? Because when they sing the songs, it seems like it's really coming from them.
Mm-hmm.
How do you put yourself in that mindset to be,
Well, I dive into relationships. Well, I still do. I dive into relationships with people.
Yeah, tell the truth, shame the devil, brother. Don't shy away from it.
Yeah.
He was gonna say I used to. No, I still do.
Oh yeah, I do. Like I dive all the way in. If I first meet you, I'm doing everything I can to let you know that I mess with you. You feel me? So I've delved into relationships and without hesitation made mistakes all the time, even trying to do good things. But I'm just practicing and sharpening my listening to, I learned how to understand what they mean when they're yelling and screaming.
Yeah.
Instead of taking it for face value. Because I'm like, all right, I see, I know what I did right. I know what I did right. I know what she didn't do right. You know what I mean? And then it's like, but how could I have? It's like playing chess and then going back 2 moves.
I got it.
Yeah, like let me come out of the whole thing and look at it from the outside. It's kind of how I listen to my music. When I listen to it too much, got to come out of it and act like I never heard it.
Yeah.
Now I'm gonna go somewhere a little different with the body part of the question, and I'm gonna talk a little bit about Mardi Gras, right? Mardi Gras is coming up, right? So I got a question for you.
What's that?
On Saturday, right? The Saturday before Mardi Gras, that day, are you recovering from the Zulu ball on Friday night? Or you going to Nam Top? Like, where you at on that Saturday? We at, bro?
Nam Top. I be at Blue Nile.
Huh?
I be at the Blue Nile.
You be the Blue Nile?
Yeah.
Okay.
They play the reggae. They play, you know what I mean? They have the balcony. You chilling.
Yeah. What about some of your, because you had to have some hometown heroes. It's too much coming out of New Orleans not to have some hometown heroes.
I think I had a hero out here. His name was Aaron. I didn't know he was from Louisiana. Like I found out later, but I loved his voice. It's like a very special tone. You know what I mean? Like it's one of them tones where it's like nobody's gonna ever sound like you ever again. And I mean, he had brothers too, and I have all brothers. So I think that was like for me, like, oh man, I feel like.
Where do you fall in the brothers? You the oldest, youngest, the middle?
I'm in the middle.
Okay. Because we're all brothers too, man, and I'm the youngest.
You spoiled it.
Let me put that. No, don't do that, brother. Don't do that. Listen, don't do that. Don't do that.
You know,
don't tell mama on him.
Not at all. Please don't. I'm my mother's baby, brother. I'm the only one that comes out of the house with a serious pet name, brother. My mother calls me her fried chicken, brother.
Ooh, you an apple cobbler.
Listen, you know I'm loved if my mother calling me fried chicken, brother.
Sweet pepper chicken.
My brothers don't have that, man. My brothers don't have that, fam.
They just got first name, last name.
Exactly. First name fried, last name chicken, brother.
Right.
So what do your brothers do music? I watched the interview and you said that you and your brothers tried to do a band, and I'm telling you, man, that took me back to my dad and me and my brothers, You know, he learned how to play the guitar. My brother played the piano. I mean, the drums. I played the guitar. My other brother played the piano.
Yeah.
Right. So tell me a little bit about that, because that was a funny story, man. Y'all tried to do a band. How did that work out?
It didn't work out. It didn't work out too well at all. Because like that was one of the first times I started listening to how people communicate. Because I was so passionate about us breaking up. But what happened was it didn't last long. It was probably, we tried it for like a quarter of a year or like 6 months. But we were going crazy. Like we were going to different spots, and one of my brothers, he nobody played instruments. Oh, like I had one of them uncles that be like, you ask him if you want to play, can you teach me how to play? And he'd be like, yeah, just sit down and play. So I never learned. Nobody was like, sure, come. Here's this middle C. I had to learn it by myself. But I mean, it was a good situation. It was fun. It was a way for us to bond. But at the end of the day, my oldest brother wanted to be a rapper. He wanted to be like, he was a crib. He went crib. And then my other brother, my baby brother was following me, but after a while I learned that he wasn't really about it. The one next to him was trying to be like the oldest brother. Mm-hmm. And then my other brother, he was actually good, and he still makes beats right now. He always made better beats than me.
Oh yeah, do y'all collab now?
Oh yeah, every time I go home, that's all I'm in the studio with.
Oh, that's what's up.
Yeah.
Yo, I went by trombone studio.
Nice. Yeah.
Last time I was in New Orleans, and he was in there cooking.
Man,
he was in there cooking. You ever did a collab with him, or ever thought about it?
Yeah, I thought about it. I want to do collabs with everybody in New Orleans. I mean, but like I said, everybody don't want to collab.
Yeah, but knowing what he was cooking up and his respect for music, I can't see him not want to get at you. Like
I see him wanting to. Now doing it is another story.
You have to tell us a little bit about your collab with Earth, Wind, and Fire, brother.
Okay.
So I mean, the elements, brother. It's the elements, man. Tell us about that. How do we arrive there?
Well, I would like to enter myself into the membership of Earth, Wind, and Fire right here, right now.
Thanks. Let's do it.
No longer Earth, Wind, and Fire. It's Earth, Wind, Fire, and Rainy Daye.
Let's get it.
Hey, I got that.
But it was amazing. That's all the elements for sure. And the main element, the glue we had, was Babyface. He actually opened up the doors for that. I manifested working with Earth, Wind, and Fire with Daye first, because it was his idea to get them on the song that we have on the second album that's coming out next year. It's called Ego, and it was like, it'd be nice if we had just like Mr. Bailey just like wailing at the end. And he was like, and in my mind, you know, this is how me and Daye's relationship is. I say it like I mean it. He believes it, and it happens. I don't even be having no plan, but I'm like, I'm gonna get him. So I'm hitting people that I know, like, yo, I want Urban, if I'm saying it over and over and over. And then next thing you know, my manager at the time was like, yo, somebody from Urban and Fire want to talk to you. I didn't believe it. So yeah. I'm like, all right, cool, for sure, whatever. I picked the phone up. He like, yeah, it's like, this Verdine, all this other stuff. I'm like,
oh,
this is during quarantine. I'm like, Verdine who?
Verdine.
Yeah. So he keep talking. He want me to get on this. He want to do a song with me and stuff, but he not saying he want to get on the song that I want him to get on. He's just saying he want to do a song, and I know what that means in the industry. That's just, hey, I just want to say what's up and keep tabs on. I want to have your number. I want you to know I got your number. I want you to know that think of me one day. But that's not what I wanted. I wanted him to say, let's do a song tonight. Mm-hmm. And he wasn't saying that, but I hung up, you know, like, I guess it'll work somehow.
Let me ask you a question. Why you ain't say it? Why you ain't asked for it?
Oh, I did.
Oh, you did?
I did. I bring them out. I bring out all the works. I did. So I waited, we waited. Between that time and the song, I did Urban and Fire, I did a whole nother song with Babyface.
Tough.
And the next thing you know, they called Babyface to get in contact with me. So I guess they read my energy. Cause like we ain't calling him. We gonna call. He just did something Babyface. We call him Babyface. So he called Babyface, and Babyface like Urban and Fire want to do a song. Then I got excited. I was like, wait, you serious?
Hold up, man. Hold up. You throwing it around like it ain't no big deal. He's like, yeah. Then I did a song with Babyface, man. Like Mrs. Babyface.
That's Babyface. That's a fact.
Like, let's not nobody get it twisted. Babyface is the goods.
Mm-hmm.
In every way musically, he's the goods. Like, you know,
like,
so
like he just did he did a lot of stuff on this Silk Sonic album. You know, shout out to them.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's still active. Like he quiet though, but he active.
Man, you can see his influence just drizzled across music.
Oh yeah.
Don't know how many years, and for years to come, because
Man.
the way he is with a pen in the music, it's uncommon. So
see, people get it confused. I don't think it's the pen in the music. I think it's his mind. Everything else is the tool.
Well, whatever's coming out of that mind is going through that pen.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because just for him, like with the way I see him developing a project like Waiting to Exhale,
man,
totally getting into the spirit of a woman. That's kind of how I hear you when you collabing with some of these women that you collabing with. I'm like,
he's definitely one of the people I look up to.
What's your toughest hurdle musically to overcome? Something that you got to reach down and say, all right, I got to get my mind centered. I got to back up and reapproach it because it seems insurmountable. But then, what's the toughest musical challenge that you've had thus far?
My ideas just keep getting too big. My ideas get bigger and bigger and bigger. And then it's like, we got to do this, we got to do that, I got to do this, I got to do that. And the more ideas I have, the less time I feel like I have to get them done. So that's like the most, it gets on my nerves. It gets on my nerves a lot. It's the time thing. I'm like, time's like money, Like, but worth way more.
Well, you can't get time back.
Yeah, and money gonna be here even when time gone. So it's just like, but time is priceless. Time is something that, it can make or break this, the next generation. And, like I just want to make all the right decisions for people that's watching me make moves. I just want to show them different things, like open it up a little bit and not be in a box,
So, of course, I'm a yin and yang this thing. So he talked about what your toughest challenge was. What do you think has been your greatest accomplishment up until this point?
Personally, believing in myself. Musically, not caring about what people think about how I think.
Let me ask you this. How powerful has believing in yourself become for you in your life? If you could give us a story or tell us a little bit about something that you say, the power of believing myself has led me to this point. What does that look like? What has that been for you?
I mean, I would say the power of believing in myself has led me to an infinite door of possibility. I mean, now it's just, I understand like whatever my mind can create, I can make come to life. And it's real. Like, it's proven so many times to so many people. Like, people out here, they you have rituals and you have little prayers, but I always think about it like, if it's 30-something teams in the NBA and every team prayed, God ain't gonna just choose a team. It's just like, it's got to be deeper than that. So, I mean, my mind, it just takes me, it allows me to have that thing that makes me just like go a little harder, like believe a little more. Like, that's my greatest accomplishment.
Well, on the B side, I hope he picked the Lakers. Shameless plug.
No.
I'm a Laker fan, brother. I hope he picked the Lakers.
Sorry.
You on a deserted island,
mm-hmm.
right? You could take, what, three things with you? Three things.
Three.
Well, I want to be specific, right? Because he's an artist, and I want to know who are the three musicians? Whose three discographies are you taking with you? And you know you can only take three.
Sly and the Family Stone.
Whoa.
Thriller.
You could say Mike Jack. You can just say Mike Jackson.
Oh, the whole discography?
Yeah, you can take the whole. You can take their whole entire body of work.
Oh yeah, Michael Jackson.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, who did I say first?
Sly and the Family Stone, Michael Jackson.
Let me get that. Sly and the Family Stone, Michael Jackson, and whole discography. I need somebody with a lot of songs. The Beatles.
Wow.
Interesting.
Wow.
I thought you was gonna say Stevie.
Stevie, or you did work with the Elements. And I was about to, I ain't gonna let them hear this. Don't worry, they ain't gonna hear this. I ain't gonna the Beatles.
Yeah, it's because it's unorthodox.
Nah, I dig it. And Sly and the Family Stone, that's tough because
it's his voice.
Well, you don't sound, I know you don't sound like him. He has a very unique.
He's happy. You can hear it when he sings. It's like he's never happy until he sings. That's how happy he sounds.
He's very socially conscious, though. Very. Like, I don't know if you ever seen some of his interviews. He's fiery, man. And borderline what they were trying to call militant. But he was very free and open with his style and his music, so they couldn't put him in that box. In particular, like Family Affair, that song alone is extremely, extremely powerful as far as helping you understand the dynamic of family. And I guess, as a songwriter, the way you're able to say things and communicate with people is what you were saying earlier. I can see why you would take somebody like Sly and the Family Stone. I dig it.
What you've given us and what you've been willing to share, my brother, has been powerful. Yeah. And from the bottom of my heart, I want to say thank you. Thank you for your openness. Thank you for your willingness to share. Thank you for how deliberate and thoughtful you've been in your responses, right? Whether they were comical responses or deep and personal. And I think that, you've allowed us to go on that mind, body, and soul journey that we crave when we do these installments. So, I think Kanan shares the same sentiment of the thanks that we want to throw your way and the roses we want to give you now for, not just this, but what you've given us in terms of art. And I would say that the future is bright and the star is shining, and I look forward to what's next for you.
Me too.
And I want you to continue.
Thank you so much. Before you say that, I have to accept that because I'm learning how to accept compliments now. So thank you. I received all of that, and I appreciate y'all having me on the show.
Absolutely, brother, for sure.
I want you to continue to live smart, man. Continue to live smart, and that's it's kind of like a tie-in to our sponsor as well, Smart Water, because living smart is about consciously choosing to do things that we know to be smarter and better for ourselves, that enhance our lives, push us forward, and a greater community. So some of the
not made for dummies.
Absolutely,
there it is. and I would be remiss, brother, as well. My brother Jason Jett here at Grindhouse Studios has been gracious enough. I was in Chicago. We did Sage. I'm here in Charlotte, North Carolina. We using Grindhouse Studios, and I'd love to just show my appreciation to Jason and his staff and how welcoming they've been to allow to share this space. So kind of like a shameless plug, but in the same way, we're gonna pump up Neows and our brothers you know, and our Ebony folks wanted to show that love.
Absolutely. And you happen to be from, you know, our second home, the NO.
Yeah.
Bro.
My buddy.
Absolutely. So with that being said, that this concludes another episode of Ebony, Mind, Body, and Soul. And we've had the wonderful, talented Lucky Daye with us. And he is dropping nothing but gems.
Man, it was tough, man. Super tough. Can't wait for this next song and the next project.
Man, I can't wait to do
it. All right, brother. Thanks again, man. Appreciate the love, brother. Sure. Studying about that good old way.